Ana Santos
Yo.
is here. We're in 2-track studios for Purple Sessions here. Ana Santos is in the building. Thank you for coming here.
Of course, y'all. Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
Of course. Yeah, I've been looking forward to meeting you because as soon as I heard that you were going to come out to the show, I looked up your page and Terror Is Coming came up right away, and I was like, holy shit! Like that is a fucking banger.
Hell yeah, man! Thanks so much. Yeah, that was my first music video I did. Yeah, I'm glad I'm super stoked on how it turned out. So yeah.
Yeah, how was that? Like the doing the first music video, like the kind of like how did that feel? Because it's like video world is kind of it gets a little hectic. You know?
Yeah, it's funny actually that shoot's pretty memorable because there was a smoke machine. It was like a studio we rented similar to this size, and we had a smoke machine going, and I actually ended up almost passing out because of it. So I literally had to go outside and sit down. The ventilation wasn't right, but I was like, man, showbiz, this is crazy, you know what I'm saying? But no, but it turned out good. But yeah, I almost passed out on that shoot. So.
This is what the people are dealing with. And the special effects people are like, no, it's okay for you. It's okay. It's healthy to inhale. You're like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. This shit seems a little too gas.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they need to calm down on that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But also, the music video shoots is kind of it's a hard balance if you're trying to do this kind of creative thing and keep the vision and the feel of the song alive. Well, crew and everything is kind of hectic trying to get everything going, and you really, I think as the artist, it's going to be difficult to keep your ground of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, no, definitely being able to vibe with who's producing and filming with the video is 100%, because ultimately you're using another creative to help bring your vision to life, and they're gonna have their own nicks and knacks, which is why you want them, right? To just help bring your vision to life. But for sure, I've been fortunate enough to work with people who have been super aligned. So yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah,
no, that's awesome, man. It's awesome because it really all has to be there, because when that disappears, it's fucking it's at the end of the day when someone, because you're giving you're kind of giving them a piece of your art, you know what I mean? And when it gets I've seen some static happen and things and it's it's my song, motherfucker. Come on, man.
It's not working. Cut.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not doing it.
Exactly. So then I want to get I love starting. I asked Dave about all this stuff and everything. What interests me in artists is kind of what how you get to music. So then. Was there anything before music that you started off doing creatively, or was it originally music, or did you start playing piano, or what was your baby steps of artistry? For
sure, yeah. I actually was just talking about this. So I've always kind of had a passion for singing. That's just where it started, in the car with my mom, just singing country music on the radio. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yes.
And then that's just where the love came from it. And then, I did have people in my family who were musically inclined, so I was always surrounded by it. Family gatherings, it's force you to sing, but I hated it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just man, leave me alone. I just want to be in my fucking room.
I want to do it on my own terms, kind of thing. Not when mom tells me to do it. In front of grandpa and grandma. it's not really the vibe.
No, 100%. No, exactly. And no, I surprisingly didn't really tap into the creative and kind of honing in on my craft until after high school. I did talent shows here and there, and then I don't know if any of y'all remember the Next Star, but it was this junior talent competition that was on YTV or some shit.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar. A little YTV kid myself here. Yeah.
So I auditioned for that a couple times, and it didn't really go anywhere. So I actually was going to school. I was gonna potentially go into a medical field, whatever, and then I was at a crossroads, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And I was kind of just I asked myself, what is something that you've always loved to do? And so I was obviously music, singing. And so I tested out the waters, doing some karaoke, open mics type thing, and just testing the audience. And then it just snowballed from there, literally a snowball effect of writing my own music, meeting other people in the industry. I've traveled kind of in the US, done competitions, won some shit. It's been insane, obviously. So it's nice. Crazy stuff.
You get a little bit of verification here and there and everything. And it's sometimes get the starting into the industry is a little bit difficult, because it's when you start off it's not really industry, it's right. Just go into things and I just want to sing in front of whoever I can kind of thing,
Oh yeah, you take any opportunity you can. Everyone's want to sing here? Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
And it's always natural too. I get that a lot. It's it's always natural. Things kind of start a little bit after high school and all that kind of shit, because high school is enough. I'm just trying to not get made fun of low key, or maybe that was just me. It took me, it takes a little bit to get after to okay, now it's all this. It's I feel like in high school, it's kind of like everybody thinks it's corny to be like doing things and trying things, and all of a sudden, when you're out of school, it's the coolest to be doing things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I was a little bit of an oddball myself, and you feel uncomfortable, you feel awkward. Like I used to get really nervous on stage, and so I did a talent contest one time. You're in grade 10, like just trying to like do your thing, and you fuck up on stage, and you're just like, shit, I'm like ruined.
Ruined, dude. I'm never coming back from this, dude.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's what builds us,
Of course, dude, of course. Yeah. But it is so funny. I mean, now, being, you get into your, like, later 20s, and it's like, I don't even think anybody remembers high school. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even remember, like, grade 10 and stuff like that. And at the time, for the next, like, year is over, you're like, no one's going to forget when, like, I missed a note.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Totally. So then, I guess you kind of been talking about performances that you've done and shows that you've done, and I think you're just coming off of a show, correct?
Yeah, I just had a performance yesterday. It was a local show at a park, but yeah, like I said, I take any opportunity I can get. It was a close friend of mine who got me the opportunity, so it was awesome.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, and that's the kind of like stories I like to get into and everything. Just, I think it's, what comes with live performing comes with people and crowds, and what comes with crowds comes with kind of some chaos and some funniness, you know what I mean? I just kind of want to know if there's any sort of, and I say that, any sort of like mic in hand, show must go on moments, like when you're seeing stuff happening and you got to kind of keep the show moving. Like, have you ever seen anything in the crowd going weird, or anything happen to you, any catastrophes or any sort of things like that? Because that's always like, we work behind the stage, I work behind the lens and stuff like that, like things happen, and yeah, I mean, something that kind of stands out is we threw a show back in February, and kind of like right at the end of my performance, the power shut down. And so, but like things like, it wasn't even not that crazy, but it's just like little things like that. But it was a funny moment type thing, where you just kind of like play off the crowd and you just make it happen, because ultimately nothing's ever really that serious. You know what I'm saying? So people catch that vibe, and you just got to keep rolling with the punches. 100%. Yeah. That's why it's like the show must go on. Like, we're making art here, motherfucker. We're making art. And did you finish the set like a cappella kind of thing? That was
the last, like that was the kind of end of it. It shocked me, so I was like, oh shit, like, and then like like. Literally that is what happened, like that noise. And then it was kind of like, okay, like that's it. Like that was the end of the song kind of thing.
Okay,
so it was like the way that it was timed was kind of crazy. So that's all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's kind of dope. Like, it's kind of like, again, that's why I asked, because those kind of moments are kind of like, these are things that happen, and they're kind of, they bring the stories and are kind of like fun. Like, what are the odds that right at the end of the last song, that noise is kind of familiar too. When I said that to tell, you're like, damn, boom.
Literally what happened. Yeah.
Shit, you hear the roar of everywhere. You hear the crowd all talking and stuff. Whatever. It's pretty funny, man.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then, so you like always were singing. Your parents, were your mom and dad like singers in artsy, or were they just like, yo, no, you sing?
No, it was kind of, I had my stepdad, he was more musically inclined, had guitars on the walls, we had an organ, we had a drum set, like there was mics, like there was always there, right?
Okay,
that was really where I was able to explore and notice that I love to do this thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I know I kind of irk on it now that he, would push me into those uncomfortable situations with like performing in front of family members, but ultimately I'm thankful now, because like it's like, hey, deep down I do love to do this shit, you know what I mean? So
of course,
yeah,
of course. At the time it's like painful and stuff. Maybe some of the stuff where you're like, I'm not trying to do that, but it's heartwarming to be, it's nice. Those moments are nice when you grow up and you realize like, man, I did need that, and it kind of was like the roots of who I became and what I became, and that's what I really love, Mm-hmm. And it's like, how did you know that I kind of wanted to do that? Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All sorts of stuff my folks would get me. Yeah, it's just anyway. Yeah, my dad was going to help me getting me to help him do video stuff and everything. But it's funny when you say that, like all the organs and the pieces being around, because it's like, I remember going to friends' houses her families were kind of like that. And before, when you're young, obviously, but then also before you're even into music at all, you're like, what do you need all this shit? What does this shit do? Like chords and things and mics and this and that. And you're like, what does all this shit even do,
Yeah.
And I guess you realize when you become a real artist, it's like, you're like, I'll just record it in a freaking snowball mic in my thing on the USB. And you're like, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, that isn't all the way it. Yeah. Maybe that's where all the shit comes in.
No, for real. No, and you learn as you go, right? So, yeah, no, definitely. I would say I'm kind of a multifaceted artist. While singing and music is my forefront, I do paint, and I have a camera. I mean, back in the day, I used to dabble in like little things like photography and things. So I don't know. I just love all the aspects
Yes.
of what art entails. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
Never limiting yourself.
For sure. I would definitely be getting to that at some point too. Like, what is like all your kind of facets of creativity and everything.
Yeah.
It's always a lot. Like, I mean, a lot of people are, singers and producers, but then also like behind the lens, in front of the lens, all sorts of things. And I like when a creative's like, like a general creative, to painting, to this and that, like just in general, everything, because I'm like that, and it feels like everything is inspiring kind of in that sense, right? It's like a lot of things can inspire you, but it's not necessarily to make a song, it's to like paint something, or it's you want to mold something, or like, you know what I mean?
And definitely I feel like, especially in this day and age, being an independent artist, you need to, have those skill sets to really kind of move forward, because you're doing everything yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone has the money to spend on the videographer or the producer or whatnot. So I think having that ability has really helped me in the industry to be able to make my own posters or just like do things like that,
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of graphic design. Like, it's like being an artist, being a musician builds everything else around it. Like, all of a sudden you're a graphic designer, all of a sudden you're a shooter, all of a sudden you're an editor.
Oh yeah.
For sure, editor. Like in these days, it's like, you know what I mean? You got to be editing all your stuff. It's just too much to pay people, really, Yeah. Especially when, everything's not really paying like all crazy, Like,
no, it's not.
Exposure bucks only go so far, you know what I mean?
For real. No, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But, so it'll be fun. So I guess, have you seen, did you see any of our videos from last Purple events or anything?
I did. I was actually at the event. Yes.
You were we had the last one here.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Good. We must have met then too, and I apologize for that.
No,
It's
a lot of shit going on.
It's a whirlwind, man.
Yeah.
It's a whirlwind. And it's, again, from the last, always growing, ever growing, like from the last event, there's stuff that we're maybe going to have a few more people on board and things. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh, no, it was so good. Yeah, I was there to see the castings. So
nice.
Yes,
The castings blew the fucking roof off. It was so fun. They were the most. I was so happy to have these guys in. It was insane. And like, what a better way to start the show. It was the most packed then. It was the most fun. These guys, the energy was insane.
Oh, they killed it.
I'm looking at we built the stage too, and I went before when I realized that they were coming in and I'm building the stage. I saw some clips of them. I was like, let me put a couple more bolts in and shit. Like, let's anchor this.
Right there,
let's anchor a few more bolts in the stage and shit, because these guys are gonna go hard for sure.
Yeah.
And then we're out there, they're like jumping up and down. I'm like, thank God I like reinforced everything. That's dope.
Totally, no, 100%. Yeah.
But I'm glad you like the space and everything. You're looking forward to it. You kind of know what you're walking into here.
Definitely, yeah.
Because again, we're not damn like Live Nation. Like, we're doing our thing as well. Like, we're building off grassroots here. And it's nice to have like really like good talents like you on board.
I appreciate that. Thank you. No, and like I said, I have mad respect for what y'all are doing, especially out here in Vancouver. Like, everybody needs opportunities like this. There's hella talent here, underestimated talent. So we need platforms to expose us. So
absolutely, man, absolutely. And we like, and we've become this kind of city where it's like we have to do it ourselves.
Oh yeah.
There's no like big hand that's pulling you out. There's like little bits here and there, but there's no like, this is in LA, like New York and shit, where like sometimes there's like somebody's just gonna pick you out of the blue. It's like you gotta really get yourself in front of there.
Definitely. But I think what that has done is create this culture of extreme authenticity. I find that, kind of listening to these cities that have those big hands, these big hands are kind of picking this curated sound that kind of sounds very similar. Whereas here, if you go around the corner, you listen to the stuff that people are making, it's very unique. It's kind of like a group like thing. There's all these groups that, maybe they sound the same, they're doing their own thing, but it's like, it's mad different from what you're doing. So
for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. We're like really grounded in our art, and we're like stuck on it. We don't have an outside voice.
Definitely.
Tell anything. Because the worst thing is to see. It's worse thing when you find somebody kind of underground and then that kind of stuff happens and you see it kind of start to slip.
Yeah.
Like, it's really a bummer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people that come out of here, the sound kind of they're able to keep it the same and everything like that. But it's also being independent's the new, like, that's what it is. That's who people want to support, right? Mm-hmm. It's not really the avenue is just completely different.
Oh yeah.
It used to just be one kind of way, but
yeah, there's the radio, how who's played on the radio type thing, No, we've come, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But I love it. I love being able to do that and not have to prove yourself to anyone.
Yeah. And it's funny for me to say too, because I'm like low key half like in media and radio and broadcasting, but like fuck the radio. Like at the end of the day, like who's listening to the radio? Like
they do a lot. I mean, yes, but like people driving to work and stuff like that. Like there are places to get exposed, but I mean, it's like I hear you. Who's listening to the radio? But like, mad people are driving in their cars every day. You know
true.
What I'm saying? Like,
true.
Some people don't have Bluetooth.
That's true.
Like
that's true. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
Yeah,
I just like it's just I'm always like it's like. I'm more saying like beat 94.5 and like things like that. It's like, okay, next up Justin Bieber, followed by Justin Bieber,
like, again,
followed by
for the past 10 years.
10 years.
I
swear to God. Followed by
swear to God.
Like how are you still playing those same three songs by The Weeknd? Yeah, I like The Weeknd, but like chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
We know the hills. It's all good. I love it. Like I know the hills. I loved it when it came out, but you're killing me here.
Yeah.
You know. That's kind of what I'm getting at, and that's kind of where I'm trying to. Obviously, my inspiration is kind of going. Like, I want to get some sort of broadcast where it's like a real station that plays people that deserve like that play like that playtime and airtime.
Totally.
Because that's why I'm saying fuck the radio. It's the big stations that won't accept anything other than big label placements.
Yeah.
Why does that have to be the case now?
Yeah.
You know, that's not what people are fully listening to. Like people, obviously that's in the clubs and this and that, but even in the clubs, you hear more different things come in. And our shows every weekend, there's multiple shows going on with like Vancouver artists playing Vancouver music, but instead we're kind of like the radio and everything's promoting Justin Bieber.
Yep.
Well, I know him, dude. I know him.
Yeah, we know about Justin Bieber. No, I hear you. Imagine if you're listening to that track that you love on Spotify, and then all of a sudden you hear that shit on the radio. Like, that'd be cool.
It'd be very cool.
That'd be so sick.
That's what I'm saying. And there's not a proper bridge right now.
No, there's not.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit crazy. But I guess it's like, yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe I'm actually being selfish because I kind of have Bluetooth. I'm a Bluetooth guy. So I'm always just like, I'm in my thing. Who I want is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And it's not that, I don't think there's a single radio song on there other than maybe like, Bruno Mars every now and comes out. The odd Bruno Mars track that comes out is maybe a little bit.
Yeah, no, trust me, I got some Harry Styles on there. Like, I get it. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It is number, like, I'm not a hater like that too. Like, it's top 40 for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, when I was young and everything like that, like, no way I can't get caught. No, I'm underground, everything, only, that shit's corny. But, like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, it's hot, but like,
yes.
but like, let's
now
make
it's not.
exactly now it's not, and let's get some like more stuff going. There's so much creation happening every day.
Yeah,
you know.
No, definitely.
Okay, so I'm rambling a little bit now,
you're
but
good.
I do want to get to before because we're at about 15 or something here. I want to know like who. Really, because I know your family upbringing, it was kind of family, there was music around and everything. But what artists are inspiring you kind of right now? Like who's giving you juice right now?
Who's giving me juice right now? You know, this is always an interesting question for me because, like, at this point now where I am in my artistry, you know, as a musician, I don't really listen to a lot of vocalists. Like, you know, if there's a track that comes out and it's crazy, like, I love it, but you know, it's a lot of just like random stuff on. It's more of a curated vibe rather than just like an artist. Does that make any sense? So yeah. I would say kind of like musically, obviously soul is always going to be at the forefront. Honestly, a lot of electronic music's been standing out to me lately.
Okay.
Just like EDM type things.
Hell yeah.
And then rock. Hella rock,
yeah,
just bringing it back to that. We all played Rock Band back in the day. Recently watched Queen, just like seeing all that stuff. So I love my rock music for sure. And it's always a mix, you know, it's kind of like how am I feeling within that moment, you know what I'm saying? That's how it is when I write my music. It's I'll listen to a track or I'll listen to a little instrumental and then it's kind of building from that. How is that making me feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what expands your artistry a little bit too. Like, you're getting all different sorts of things in your brainwaves, subliminally and not subliminally, you know what I mean? Like,
totally. Yeah.
No, I love that. I really do like that because I like the rock inspiration because Terror is Coming, like, Who produced that track?
That was a track I found on YouTube.
Okay, because the Big L sample is insane and everything. Like I just love that too. And I just as soon as I heard that song track by you, I'm like, all right, like you're for real, like for real. I'm really really stoked. Like she's coming and I'm really excited.
Cool,
I think again the inspiration question is a little weird sometimes. It's kind of people on the spot and everything, and it's hard to be like, oh, I'm inspired by fucking, whoever.
Yeah.
You don't really want, it's like, I don't want to box anybody in by asking that, you know what I mean? Just to say out loud. But just to kind of like tie in everything all together, I want to ask kind of how you're feeling about yourself. Like what medium are you kind of focused on right now? Like what's your immediate next? Like is there a music video you're working on? Is there an album you're working on? Is it a single? Is it kind of just pursuing shows? Are you just trying to do like the social media business a little bit, or the whatever business? Like where are you leaning in? Where do you feel yourself leaning right now?
I feel like it's a little bit of everything. You know, I'm a very go with the flow type person. And so, just so happens that this month I have a few performances coming up because the opportunities have presented themselves. Some months it's more, just doing jam sessions and collaborating with other musicians, seeing what we can come up with on the spot. And then, I do dabble with painting here and there, so it's kind of the vibes there that I'll just kind of put music aside and just do that type of thing. But yes, I just released a track on the 7th here, Hostage, and so I am hoping to come up with some visuals for that in the next couple weeks. And then just kind of more singles drops. I'm not really working on a curated album right now, but just like, I have a lot of music on the back burner, and so it's just kind of picking and choosing what I want to fix up and make it sound presentable enough to release. And just like I said, collaborations, like working with other people, just like seeing how that can shape me and mold me. So that's fun. The live, like, and again, it's like I have live performances booked, so it's kind of like rehearsing and live performances. That's kind of what's happening right now. You know what I mean? And live performances is good because then you're kind of like leaning on, like, there's networking that's happening, there's things that's happening, which is all, like, that's how we met you through our show and everything like that. It's like, I used to always say when I was working with artists, like, to be in the scene, you have to be in the scene. Yeah. You have to get yourself out there and everything like that, which sometimes is easier said than done. But it's like, it means even if you're not performing, like being at a show, which is kind of what you're doing. Like, you're doing the right things because then we're doing this kind of thing. Exactly. No,
right.
For sure.
Which is really good. And I also like having the painting outlet too, because it's like, as a creative, there's always an aspect where the thing that you're doing is like, there's parts of it that feel like more like work than other parts, right? Like, not all of it is just like funny. It's like you're putting in work, right? Like, people think you're going in the studio and just like da 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 da, like nobody's tracking vocals and like da 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 and doing like the nitty gritty, right? So I always like the idea of like when it's starting to feel a little bit like work, you could just transfer to a completely different medium, and you can be painting, and by the time you're like done like an art piece, you're like, all right, shit, I'm sick of this right now. I want to go back and like record.
Yeah, I get bored easily, so you gotta have those things to stimulate you.
Yeah, I think a lot of us creators kind of go like that. I'm kind of like, what's the next thing? Totally. What am I doing here? Like, I can't even, like, this is the most I like to sit still. Yeah, like,
for sure. Right? That's real. It's true.
It's true. It's true. That makes the best of us, man. I mean, it's nice when you see documentaries and things and about artists that you like. You know what I mean? It's like, these are the way people are. Like, kind of bustly and a lot going on in your head. So many ideas in your head that it's hard to pick which one to pursue first.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's like, genuinely, that's like the creative kind of like creative hustle, I think, because
we all have that file of unfinished things. Yeah.
For sure. All that is, I call it the guilt file.
Yeah. It's like all this random stuff. Like, it'll get done eventually, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, should have got it done. But anyway, I think we're probably good. I don't want to keep you forever, but I appreciate you coming in. God bless. Absolutely. It was awesome, man. You're really, really well spoken. Really, like, I mean, you're really put together artist. I really feel good about your direction, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited for April 21st.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Crazy! 2 Track Studios, Purple Sessions. Thanks for coming out.
Of course, thanks for having me, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.